Welcome to This Explainer. You know, right now it feels like every single conversation we have about digital transformation revolves around social platforms. We're constantly debating which new ecosystem to join or how to chase down these elusive engagement metrics. But in all that noise, we're actually losing sight of a much simpler, far more critical fact. Your company website remains the absolute only digital asset your business actually fully owns. So in this explainer, we are going to challenge that obsession with rented metrics. We're going to refocus on your core digital infrastructure. Drawing on some incredible data and insights from the digital strategy experts at Softwin, we'll explore exactly why your website is, without a doubt, your most powerful, scalable, and secure digital asset.
Let's start with a tough question. What actually happens to your business if the algorithm just changes tomorrow? It is incredibly easy to lose sight of the fragility of building your brand purely on rented social media space. I mean, we've all seen it happen, right? A company builds this massive following, they rely on it for their revenue streams and customer interaction, and then, literally overnight, a single algorithmic update completely decimates their reach. Suddenly, your business continuity is completely threatened, and you find yourself paying just to reach the audience you spent years organically building. When you operate solely on these platforms, you are entirely at the mercy of their corporate policies, their technical glitches, and their strategic pivots. You really have to ask yourself with some serious strategic weight, how much of your current revenue relies on digital real estate that could evict you without any warning?
Section 1. Rented versus owned infrastructure.
The difference between your social media presence and your website isn't just cosmetic, it's deeply, fundamentally structural. When you build on social media, you are basically operating inside someone else's walled garden. You don't own the underlying code, you don't own the data, and you are entirely subject to their technical limitations. It is, by definition, rented space. But your website, that is your proprietary infrastructure. It operates in a secure environment that your business selects, built on a domain you fully own. You get to control the narrative, the user experience, and the data collection. You dictate the automation and workflows. Having this kind of absolute seamless control over your digital presence is totally non-negotiable for long-term scalability and business stability.
Section 2. Discovery versus specific intent.
Now, notice the fundamental shift in the user's psychological state here. Social platforms are literally engineered around passive discovery. Users are just browsing and scrolling without a specific goal. They're existing in a highly passive state. And that's exactly why social content is optimized for reach and grabbing rapid attention. But your website operates entirely differently. It's a high-intent environment. By the time someone actually arrives at your domain, they are actively looking for solutions, checking out pricing, reading technical documentation, or looking for a direct line to your sales team. Your website is a dedicated engine engineered for frictionless conversion and scalable business growth. Trying to make your highly optimized digital architecture act like a passive social feed, it completely misaligns with user intent.
Section 3. The B2B Trust Baseline.
Because we know visitors arrive with that specific, high intent, this owned space completely dictates your credibility, especially in a B2B context. Think about your own behavior for a second. When you are evaluating a new vendor or a potential technology partner, what's your first move? You audit their website. That seamless digital experience happens long before a discovery call is ever booked. According to Softwin's digital strategy experts, your website functions as the ultimate baseline reference point. A clean, incredibly fast, optimally structured UI instantly establishes trust and authority. Conversely, a slow, neglected site isn't just an eyesore. It essentially represents a failure of technology partnership. It destroys credibility instantly. Regardless of how brilliant your viral social campaign might be, if a prospect experiences friction on your core domain, you lose the deal, for sure.
Section 4. A practical website framework.
Let's translate all of this into a practical, enterprise-grade strategy for continuous improvement. First off, you've got to keep your core pages, services, about, contact, absolutely 100% accurate. These are your high-intent hubs. Their data must be impeccable. Second, prioritize and optimize digital architecture. We are talking about clean, structured data, lightning-fast load speeds, and absolutely flawless mobile usability. If your performance lags by even just a few seconds, user drop-off is practically guaranteed. Third, reframe your social strategy to drive pipeline efficiency. Use social media purely as a mechanism to drive traffic inward to your controlled environment, rather than treating it as a substitute for your website. And finally, approach your website as an agile, living asset that drives long-term performance. By committing to this kind of continuous digital transformation, you're going to insulate your business from external algorithmic volatility.
Section 5. Ready for AI search.
This brings us to something absolutely crucial. We are right now navigating the future of search, where AI is acting as the new intermediary between your business and your clients. The way enterprise buyers source information is fundamentally transforming. A rapidly growing segment of buyers simply no longer relies on traditional search engines and blue links. Instead, they're leveraging AI assistants like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google AI to understand your company's capabilities before they ever set foot on your domain. These massive AI engines are constantly parsing, summarizing, and citing your structured data. If your website lacks an AI-readable structure, meaning it's missing precise text and seamlessly organized data, these systems will just bypass you entirely. Or worse, they might hallucinate incorrect capabilities about your brand. Treating your website as AI-ready infrastructure is no longer optional. It is a mandatory technological upgrade.
Which leaves us with one critical, game-changing realization. As you evaluate your digital strategy moving forward, you really need to look past those surface-level vanity metrics and focus on true, scalable digital transformation. When an AI assistant scans the web to summarize your business to your next biggest enterprise client, what exactly is it learning? Are you proactively controlling that narrative with a secure, highly optimized architecture? Or is your digital infrastructure rendering you completely invisible to the future of search? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. It is time to take control of your digital future, starting today.